Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers, and today we are in. I always forget to. I keep forgetting to look. This is our third. This is our third in our Fincher-thon, in our month of David Fincher. This is Fight Club.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Why? How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight.
Wait, let me start earlier. Like many of you, I was stuck.
You want me to deprioritize my current reports until you advise of a status upgrade?
Make these your primary action items.
I couldn't sleep.
No, you can't die from insomnia.
I'd flip through catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person? This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. I prayed for a different life.
Soap. I make and I sell soap.
And this is how I met Tyler Durden.
Come on, hit me before I lose my nerve. Ow! It hit me in the ear!
It was on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Can I be next?
We just gave it a name.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is...
Wow, nice.
One of his most critically revered films. Bit of a box office flop at the time. Eventually grows into one of the biggest cult successes of all time. And to discuss this film, we're joined by two wonderful previous guests. We're joined in alphabetical order by Finn Howe. Finn, how are you today? Finn, how are you today?
I've never heard that one before. I've never heard that one, actually. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
Is that your blood? Some of it, yeah.
After Fight Club, we all started seeing things differently.
You're gonna have to keep me up all night.
And she ruined everything.
You're not into her, are you?
No, God, not at all.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't.
He had a plan. To what purpose? In Tyler we trusted.
I gotta take Fight Club up a notch. Each one of you has a homework assignment. You're gonna start a fight with a total stranger.
That's not necessary.
You're gonna lose.
That hurt.
You were looking for a way to change your life. You got it.
Before we move on to our other guests, Finn, what's your relationship with Fight Club?
I mean, I watched it probably 2 years ago for the first time, so it's pretty new to me, reasonably, and I just thought it was sick. In all honesty, like there wasn't much to it. I just thought it was a sick film. like my mate recommended it to me. He was like, "Oh, watch it. Like, there's a great twist at the end." And I was like, "All right." I was bored, watched it, loved it. It's just a good film. I think it's great.
It's a very good film. Finn has finally watched Goodfellas. Finn watched Goodfellas last night. Good film, isn't it?
Yes, Joe Pesci. Please don't whack me. I get the references now.
Yeah, and now I'm going to stop referencing it because I don't get any joy. The joy comes from you going, I don't get it.
I'm stopping this.
It's already done, so shut up.
What kind of sick game are you playing? Oh my God.
Kids.
This is too much.
In the end, you will thank me.
Wow! If you could fight anyone, who would you fight?
Shatner. I'd fight William Shatner.
Oh, we have another guest, another wonderful return guest, Mr. Sam Mandi-Ghomi. Sam, how are you? Oh. Sam Mandy, how are you?
Yeah, nice. I don't know. We're all dealing, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Well, in actuality, we're currently dealing in a lockdown, but this is going to come out in a year. So hopefully we're through it all and everybody's great.
So hopefully I've had those vaccines in my arm. That'd be
yes. Nice. Oh, that will be wonderful.
One in either arm.
That's how I'm
That'd be
coping.
lovely.
Is that I'm perennially in the future through podcasts. I ended up rewatching one of the shows from the first lockdown for our shortcut series, which gives a snappier version of some of our favourite episodes. And we would all say, and it was me and Alice, and it was on the Paddington 2 episode, and we were talking about how excited we were to go see Imelda Staunton in Hello, Dolly. That was cancelled the week later, and and then she can't do it
I love
because it's really weird. Yeah,
love this version of life.
it's just a lie. Fight Club. Let's see what YouTube comments. Let's see what the kids are saying. And also throughout, my lovely DVD comes with a lovely booklet. And this booklet has some incredible reviews from the original reviews, because this was just lambasted by films. It was a real divisive movie. And I'm going to read some of those throughout because they're just great. I rented this and The Matrix on the same weekend as a kid. Good times.
What an irrelevant comment. Does anyone care? No.
Took a first date to see this. Didn't get a second date.
That is a shit first date film. I'm not gonna lie.
Are they blaming it on Fight Club? Are they? Okay then. Yeah, but what's a good first date movie?
Not Fight Club.
What is a good first date movie? Paddington.
Just something like passive, like something like Marvel. No one cares about it. It's just in the background.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yeah,
well, it depends.
Fight Club, you have to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, but it depends. Is it like a date movie where it's like, oh, we're going to be kissing? Because one of my first date movies was Wonder Woman, and that was fine because Wonder Woman's a movie I never want to watch again. Not because of the emotional scarring experience.
I hated it.
Yeah, rough.
So,
what, because
rough movies.
Gal Gadot was a member of the IDF.
Yeah, and that's one of the better things going for the film. No.
That is the best thing.
I just thought it was boring, but it's also politically treacherous. David Fincher deserves
and it's interspersed with, much like how in this film, it's interspersed with those one frames of dicks and such. It's interspersed with single frames of that video Gal Gadot did of singing Imagine at the start of the first lockdown.
Imagine
you're not quite sure it's happening, but you know you've seen it. And it's because she's like this close to the camera too. She's
eating the camera.
Imagine.
She's eating the camera.
Fucking get out my face, man.
And then she's not that bad, she's not, but that's fine. And then she's roped in everybody else, and everybody's singing a different tune. Some have sped it up, some are doing doo-wop.
Some have jazzed it up, mate.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was very bad. I love David Fincher, but I don't know if this is true. David Fincher deserves a Nobel Prize for making this. I mean, it's a good film. I don't know.
A Nobel Prize in what? Like a Nobel Prize in physics? Because I'm not sure that adds up.
Is there there isn't a Nobel Prize for film. Should there be? There's a Nobel Prize for literature.
Yeah, probably there shouldn't be a Nobel Prize for film. I suppose you could probably include the screenplay in the Nobel Prize for literature.
Yeah, I guess. Dylan won for literature. That was a big to-do.
Bob Dylan did. I'm just in what Nobel Prizes there are: physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, and peace. So maybe we could put it in physiology and medicine.
No, actually, I'm going to say get rid of literature. That feels really out of place.
No, it's so random.
And replace it with
Nothing.
Comedy.
Nobel Prize for comedy.
Nobel Prize for comedy?
No, because we'd keep winning.
This podcast.
Yeah.
Every year.
I have a short-term memory loss, and I am happy that I have one, because every time I watch this movie, it makes me feel like the first time. And somebody's commented on that. You should go get that checked.
That's really sad. That's genuinely true. Fucking sad, man.
You should go get that checked.
Genuinely, that is just tragic.
Imagine like not remembering anyone in your life, but it's okay because you can watch Fight Club on repeat and not remember the plot.
Yeah, every time you're like, ooh, what's this film?
Fight Club. It's like Memento. He's lying to himself. Keeps leaving the DVD of Fight Club out. Fight Club is the most frankly and cheerfully fascist big star movie since Death Wish, a celebration of violence in which the heroes write themselves a license to drink, smoke, screw, and beat one another up. That's from Roger Ebert.
Cheers, Roger.
You know, drinking and smoking are classic fascist tendencies too.
Oh,
screwing
as well. Yeah, just having sex is just so like Nazi.
Having sex inherently fascist.
Oh, you must hate the Jews. Go away.
Smoking. I think something to touch on is the sort of legacy of Fight Club. Is the
you want to say the legacy of fascism?
It's the legacy of fascism.
Yeah. Nobel Prize for fascism. There we go. We figured it out. We've
discovered it. This year, it's obviously already going to that man who stormed the Capitol building in that bull's head and painted his face. He's got it.
This is true. Well, no, this year he's run it 2 years in a row. He did it again. This is what we don't know. What terrible thing, because we're all hoping for happiness, but what terrible, terrible things are going to happen in between recording this? And maybe David Fincher becomes a serial murderer and I have to not release all these episodes. It's the new OJ.
Firstly, the vaccine's not going to work. That's what it's going to be. There's going to be a virus mutation that's vaccine resistant. And secondly, David Fincher is going to become like a massive anti-vaxxer off the back of it, and we're going to have to like cancel him.
Cancel David Fincher. And then all three of us are going to die. And this episode's going to pop up in people's timelines because I'll have scheduled it. And it'll be like, oh my God. It's the first Nobel Prize for comedy that's been won posthumously. So it's an achievement.
No, it's just the first Nobel Prize for comedy.
Full stop.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about the legacy of Fight Club. Because, you know, it's that old joke. You've got your Fight Club poster. You've got your Scarface poster. Fight Club's cool, bro. Look at, you know, I love Fight Club, bro. And it's obviously so much more than that. And it is an exploration of violence. I watched this with, well, let's bring this up. Sam, you messaged me the other day saying basically that, you didn't enjoy it as much. Did you not enjoy it completely, or was it something very specific?
No, I don't think it's I definitely enjoyed the film, withdrawing myself from it and appreciating it as a film that's being made, because it's obviously created wonderfully.
Oh, it's excellently crafted.
You can't deny that the direction, the artistic creativity, even the cinematography, it's all great. It's more just, and obviously I suppose this isn't a problem with the film per se as much as the source material now and the book it came from, but it was, I think, because ultimately it's a film from Generation X focusing on the issues of sort of like Generation X and their attachment to oh God, did you hear my voice just stop then? Attachment to society and the way in which they are, they're the first sort of generation that have been entirely sort of marketed to and, advertised to all of their lives. And that's kind of like the angle the entire thing comes from. And I think because of that, because I'm now watching it with my sort of Generation Z attitude, I I don't sort of relate to it or agree with what it's putting out as much as I did when I watched it when I was like 17. Because obviously there's been like 5 more years since then. And now I'm much more like, well, we all understand that consumerism, I feel like our generation understands that consumerism is quite a bad thing. And we don't necessarily need any that kind of criticism of it via film, or we can't relate as much as, like, I feel like you couldn't make this film now or create that story now, because that's sort of the disassociative sense to sort of say, you know, you are being wholly marketed to, and there's no point in your life because of that. I feel like we now consciously understand that regardless. So there was a sense of me just watching it and being like, I know all of this, which I suppose is sort of snooty and, you know.
I was put in a position where... Oh, sorry. I was put in a position where I was watching the film with my mum, and she just really didn't like it. She was like, I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. And so I was literally put in a position afterwards where she said, well, why do you like it? Why, what's good? What's that about? And I was literally put in a position where I had to explain it, you know, in a minute or whatever. And it, for me, that sort of, all that stuff comes off as ridiculous now, but I think, well, not ridiculous, but comes off as obvious now. But I think that completely works in its favor, because for me, it's the simple story of a progression to absolute violence and terrorist activity, and what can start as something quite simple, manifesting into something completely horrid. And obviously, you've got the twist and that. The mechanics of that, which add another layer to it, and obviously you've got the criticism, and also this is 1999. It's a really weird subgenre of fuck you, the man movies. So you've got Office Space, which is basically just a comedy version of Fight Club, and your other big ones, American Beauty, which obviously sweeps the Oscars. And American Beauty is not really a movie people return to nowadays because of it's easy to remove the art from the artist with other spacey movies, but not the one where he's literally playing a pedophile, and that's a little tougher.
For him.
But give that the Nobel Prize for comedy.
Thank you. And but I do still love American Beauty. I was watching. I sometimes I just watch Annette Bening in the gun range and then driving home, because for me, I love everything else in American Beauty. I mean, I also Space is great in it, you know. That's its own conversation. He is great in it, but that's a movie where it's got the same thing, where it's like, I hate my life, I hate this bullshit life I'm leading, I'm gonna do whatever I want. In that movie, it's even, well, not even darker. Let's rank pedophilia and terrorism. You know, what's worse? But you know,
what's worse?
It's that it's that reaping of complete violence and terrible things from a very simple, motivated, I don't want my bullshit desk job. I mean, American Beauty literally has almost the exact same fired scene of, I'm going to manipulate my boss into giving me everything I want by lying. Finn, have you noticed a change in your relationship with Fight Club, or are you still, I mean, I don't know. Speak for yourself.
Not really massively, no. I mean, I get where you're coming from with the whole like commercialism standpoint, because I think now obviously our generation's all aware of that. Like we all still adhere to it. We all still buy shit and everything, but like we're all like, yeah, this is bad. I'm feeding sweatshops in China, but like it's cheap in it, so like I'll buy it anyway. But we're all aware of that, and so like you said, like having a film it isn't like, oh, consumerism's bad. I didn't know this. Like it wasn't like an eye-opening experience. But I think it also then agreeing with Tom, like I don't think that's what it's supposed to be in a way. I guess it works in the context of its time, and I think the movement from that consumerism and then into just total anarchy, I think that works really well.
I think it's people who think it's cool. And yeah, Brad Pitt is obviously really cool.
Yeah, no, sick.
He's a charismatic guy. But this time, and my mum was very open about saying, like, well, I just thought it'd be a different movie. Like, I've seen him with his top off, and I thought it was just going to be cool. It was just going to be like nice, like fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Tyler Durden's a very cool character, I guess. And Brad Pitt's obviously great and very charismatic in this, and hilarious as all hell frequently. But I didn't find him cool at all. When he's eating and the little scratchy beard, I thought, this guy, who cares? And I think it's because we've had a better version of that with Cliff Booth, with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What we've said as well is that sense of like, once again, this is like late 90s. So if you're pitching everything sort of in that generation, I think it obviously works, and there's a reason it became a cult classic in that time period. But once again, I think that problem is like, if the entire move, like kind of the undertones of the, not even undertones really, the movie's being pitched at sort of like, this is, my life is awful and I want to do something different with it, so I'm going to. It has to rely on like these specific factors of this man, you know, the narrator, not having anybody else in his life at all to care about. Because now, if you're making that film, it's like, well, firstly, what am I going to tell my mum and dad? Secondly, how am I going to afford food? Thirdly, you know, I suppose you could also then put onto it, if you're not sort of like, because he already has quite a good job, as it were, in the sense of it probably pays quite well, so he's probably sort of middle class to a
It's a nice apartment. He's got all of his IKEAs.
Yeah. So if you're not kind of like the typical white middle class man in that sense, there could be a whole myriad of other systemic factors stopping you just quitting your job and going and living off, you know, actually trying to source your ideal life, which is, you know, the entire problem with the system we live in. Which sort of, now that I'm watching the film and now that I have sort of like that basin in theory, you know, the last time I watched this film, I didn't have a degree. Now I have a degree, which, you know, is a humble brag.
You think you dropped something?
Yeah, but like, because sort of like I've been taught to think in that way.
Yeah.
Now I can watch it and be like, this only works in this one specific sense of a human being.
And he's selling soap. Selling the soap's fun and everything, but how is he funding all of this?
No, literally, right? Why have you quit your job? Because you can't buy your, you know, where are you getting the Bunsen burners from?
Well, no, he does say. Well, no, he does say. We've got corporate sponsorship now, and they've got the fly coupons, and but still, it takes a while. He's in his job for a little bit, but I mean, I guess he doesn't actually have to feed two people.
No.
But also, he's fully schizophrenic, multiple personality. So, is he cooking two meals?
he might be cooking two meals.
Eating both of them. He's like running round to each side of the table.
I also, however, don't think that Kenneth Turan was correct. A witless mishmash of whiny, infantile philosophizing and bone-crunching violence that actually thinks it's saying something of significance. Let's dive into the body of the film. 10-minute stretches. I've got a lot of nominations, so we'll reel through these and then we'll see if I've missed anything. The early cancer stuff, which is a bizarre prologue, but perfectly fits. Because it immediately puts us in the perspective of, you know, what's the one thing that they do as a terrorist group to you know, threaten people and scare people? Castrate them. We're immediately with people who have lost their prostates, dealing with the fact that they don't feel like they're men. You know, we're still men. They keep saying that. It immediately puts us perfectly into this ideology of, you know, whether it be through legitimate prostate cancer or through a corporate oppression, these people feel diluted as men, and they need that visceral thing. My mum said, this is another great mum comment, she was just like, oh, I just, you wouldn't do it though, would you? Like the fighting, and they were like, oh, I don't, who would do that? And I think I personally wouldn't. But yeah, people would. It's that visceral. You know. I hurt myself today to see if I still bleed. I mean, that's 9 Inch Nails. Who would obviously Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross would then go on to score Social Network, Zodiac, Go the Drain Tattoo, and now Mank. And their song opens 7. But it's that you need to wake up to remember you're still awake.
I think that's a problem I had with it again. This time, which was that, I just don't buy into the fact that. Look, I understand it's kind of like what it's trying to go for and what it's trying to say with sort of the societal emasculation of an entire generation of men. But I just don't think I agree that that's happened, basically. I understand that there's been a societal change in the traditional role of like the man and the husband, etc., etc. But I think that's a positive thing.
No, it certainly is. And I agree with you. But also, at least 20 people to fill a Fight Club basement that think that that's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, no, I do, but I think if I was creating something to try and make a societal comment on sort of like the the generational difference between men, I probably wouldn't be portraying it in a negative light as the kind of like the material attempts to.
Yeah.
Which is, doesn't make the film worse, I suppose, but it definitely made my viewing experience this time around a lot more why I was watching it there. Like, I don't care.
True. Meeting Tyler on the plane. Sorry. Meeting Tyler's my third nomination. My previous nomination would be the plane montage, and another sort of the corporate machinations, and he's talking to the woman on the plane before the plane crash. And he's just, before the fake plane crash, he's just saying, we figure out this is how much it's going to cost, and this is how much.
Yeah.
These are real things, though. Does that happen very often? More than you think. And those sort of machinations, and it's all a big machine, and he's just slowly churning through it. Finn, of the early part of the film, what are you clinging on to? Before Tyler, what's grabbing you? Or is this a movie that gets into its gear when Tyler arrives?
No, obviously it's a film with two halves, isn't it, really? Completely. And I think that's what makes it. But no, the first half of the film for me is great. I think my favorite part is probably the whole like insomnia montage. I think that's so cool. And I think it like just the narration over that, and the the visuals of like having like flickers of like images and shit like that. I think that works really well.
Well, we've touched on Brad Pitt, but obviously I think people talk about Brad Pitt all the time in this movie. But this movie, it doesn't work without Brad Pitt. It really doesn't work without Edward Norton. I think that was my big takeaway this time and Helena as well, which we'll get to. But just how good Norton is in this, and Helena mainly in the second half, where obviously it's a film that enriches over multiple watches. And watching Helena's performance when she's with Ed, and then when she's so and so with Tyler, it's like I just Chuck Palahniuk, the author of the book, when he watched the film, he said that Helena Bonham Carter broke her heart, and I get it. It is so upset. It is upsetting, and she's like just keeps getting It's clearly very good sex. But then, next morning, very upsetting. Yeah, I cling on to the insomnia stuff as well, which leads us into the Fight Club starting and that early basement. Because as much as you're saying it's a film of two halves, which it obviously is, I think it's also its strongest, one of its strongest features is how gradual Project Mayhem builds.
Yeah.
And how it starts with the little things that are like, okay, yeah, no, you're going to start a fight and you're going to lose. All right, okay, I can see this as a natural expanding of the Fight Club. They're not damaging people yet. And then it's like, okay, and then you got to do this. Then you got to do this, and it builds and it builds. And obviously, all that violence in that little basement has to get out eventually. Into Project Mayhem, great 10-minute stretches. Tyler's gone. That whole stretch, and he's obviously the reveal. And then the finale. For me, the biggest, it's not a problem, but it is a problem. But it's not a problem, but it is a problem. The final 20 minutes, once we know the truth, yeah, that fight's great, and it keeps cutting, and it's the CCTV cameras and stuff. That was another one when my mum said, "It doesn't make sense. You're not going to hurt. You're not going to do yourself in." But once the reveal happens, you're like, "Oh, yeah," and it's like, "Okay, so what's going to happen now?" Have I missed anything 10-minute stretch wise? What are my big glaring omissions, Finn?
No, I think most of it is covered there, to be honest with me.
Sam, have I missed anything?
No, I was going to touch on the whole, obviously when Marla starts to, when she does her cry for help, I suppose, and that sort of whole between that and him making the soap and in that sort of kind of his discovery of his new life with the dissociative personality.
Yes. Which leads us into... Oh, go on.
No.
Which leads us into Tom's Whittler's specific favourite parts of the film. I love Edward Norton mumbling with the gun in his mouth. I love one of the groups is called Positive Positivity. Just that perfect sort of bland.
That is good.
Just, what's that for? Is that for a disease? Is that just for depression? I love Marla's intro. If we're talking just all-time intro lines,
yeah,
it's this prostate cancer. Great stuff.
The neo-noir femme fatale classic.
She walked into my room and she had legs for days.
Yeah, literally, it's that pushed into its new age sense. It's perfect.
She's like, it also feels like a comment on, and it's sort of proto this, so my comment, it doesn't really work, but that sort of manic pixie dream girl of the early 2000s, and you sort of, it's like, yeah, okay, so you want a girl who likes everything you like, and will have sex with you all the time, and will smoke and be cool. Yeah, this is the real version of that. You may find her at a cancer support group that neither of you should be at.
And also, I think obviously the casting is spectacular. That goes without saying. But like the knowledge that she would have to also, because she's irreparably damaged too, the knowledge that she'd have to be frail and appear frail physically, whilst sort of not being frail emotionally. It just works, doesn't it? She plays it perfectly. Also, sorry, a weirdly specific favorite part of the film. You know when she just crosses the road and he is like...
man, it could be worse. A woman could cut off your penis while you're sleeping and toss it out the window of a moving car.
There's always that. I don't know, it's just when you buy furniture, you tell yourself, that's it, that's the last sofa I'm gonna need. Whatever else happens, got that sofa problem handled. I had it all. I had a stereo that was very decent. A wardrobe that was getting very respectable. I was close to being complete.
Shit, man, now it's all gone.
All gone.
All gone. You know what a duvet is?
Comfort.
It's a blanket. Just a blanket. Now, why do guys like you and I know what a duvet is? Is this essential to our survival in the hunter-gatherer sense of the word? No. What are we then?
You know, consumers.
Right. We are consumers. We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. Murder, crime, poverty, these things don't concern me. What concerns me are celebrity magazines.
I don't know why on the rewatch I found that really funny.
It is very funny. And then when she stops and she goes, "Okay, well, give me a number." It's like, yeah. Okay, and she just walks again. Really funny. And another great moment. Yes, I'm selling some clothes.
Yeah, and then he's like, and he agrees to go along with that. Yeah,
because he's going to become a retrobate. He already is a retrobate. Going to these groups. I love the TV hotel ad. I love Brad in the corner going, "Hey, you're welcome," or whatever.
Her going, no, I want. Is it like blood-sucking parasites? She's like, I want blood-sucking parasites, and he's like, you can't have both. I liked that. I thought that was fun.
You can't have all the bloods.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a great conversation. And yeah, following her from the laundromat to the. And also,
because as well, sorry, like that entire sort of that montage manages so well to portray him as just the freak that he is. Like just following people to laundromats. He's like unable to cross a road. He's getting annoyed about the fact that like somebody else is lying. It's great.
Yeah. It's like, you're a phony. It's like, come on.
Yeah, but that's the point. I get it.
I also love the sort of church music when it's like, babies don't sleep this good. It's like, so good. It's so happy. It's so joyous. And then I've just the splicing of the cock is a very funny, very funny. And then that brief flash, and then all the parents looking at the kids.
The woman looking at her child, just like, yeah, great.
They all knew they saw it. I have the dildo. I've always found this bit very funny. It's like 10 times out of 10, it's an electric toothbrush, but one of those times.
Don't worry, it's not a threat to you.
It's not a threat to you. And in oh no, that's another good dildo. There's multiple great dildos in this.
There is. Which again is comment on the emasculation of society. But then I suppose that it's not a threat to you. It's a sort of attempt to push it back into, not an attempt to push it, but kind of like is in my sense of the thing of not agreeing with it.
Yeah, but then also she doesn't know.
This isn't a comment on just sexualization of the entire world, but I don't agree that those two things can't coexist.
Yeah, this is true. Finn, what's have you got any specific favorite parts jumping out to
you? I do. I really like the ending when he like the whole the smoke coming out of the mouth.
That's great. Oh yeah,
that's great.
Stay with the pain during the live sequence where it's like, okay, use your meditation. It's like, no, stay with the pain. It's pulling it. The light sequence is rough.
The light sequence is rough. I like. Sorry. No, don't worry at all.
No.
My sister. No, I like. When Bob, he re-meets Bob again. I like that Bob's bitch tits have got even bigger. I think that's a great touch.
Sam has been with us for 3 films. That's a lie. By this time, he's been with us for more. And he's managed to star in the 2 movies that Meatloaf has been in.
This is true. I'm a Meatloaf movie guy, apparently.
This and Misery. No.
In which he plays a fantastic detective.
Oh, that would be good. No, it wouldn't
Right.
be good. I don't know why. Would that be good? Don't remake Misery, everybody. I love the hose guy. I love.
Oh God. Oh, when that is he like a priest or something?
Yes.
And it's when he punches him like that, and he's like, sorry, as he runs away. Great.
The flight sheets. They're all. It's like, yeah, okay, put them in. Human. I love in the "Where's Tyler Gone" sequence where the door flips shut and it reveals all of those human sacrifice IDs.
And
it's like, oh, wait a minute.
And you're there like, oh, this isn't just a Fight Club anymore.
Maybe that was the one where I was like, yeah, okay, Tally, you've got to, yeah, okay, I can go with that. Like, I know he's verbally and physically assaulting and seriously affecting these people's futures. But also, yeah, I get it. His breakfast will taste better and he will become a vet. Yeah, because he's scared he's going to die.
To be fair, though, that was another bit that made me like, yeah, I don't like this film as much as I did, because there is absolutely no way in hell, because that guy's Asian, right?
Yeah.
There is no way in hell you should be telling this story without also addressing the sort of the systemic issues that are going to that have faced this Asian man in stopping him becoming a vet and now stopping him from just quitting his job and retrying the dream. Because like, I feel like there's also a place for it in this film that would make it better.
Yeah, because I think there is a level of diversity in the Fight Club and in Project Mayhem, and I don't know whether or not this is a time where I would say the movie should be less diverse, because I don't think it actually gets into the different levels of what a different cultural experience would bring to being in the Fight Club.
Yeah.
So I think in actuality, less diversity and make them all be middle-aged white men.
If everyone was white, it would be less of a problem in the film. Now you'd be able to still say this is still telling one story, but by the fact that like everyone isn't white, you do have the ability to then be like, that's inconsistent with what we can literally observe and what it is literally dealing with. But then I suppose if everyone's middle class, you've also got, there's things to weigh up. There's intersectionality to weigh up there.
It saddens me a bit that this is seen as a guy movie. I'm very much a girly girl, and this has to be my favourite movie ever. The images and the overall feeling of it left me with going to stay in my dreams for a while. That's as posted on IMDb. Fight Club is to intelligent men what Catherine Breillat's romance is to intelligent women. An insult. That's from Gregory Wankoff of the...
What would have been quite nice, obviously we are just three white men talking about Fight Club. It would have been nice if one of the female reoccurring guests on the CLW would have, if you would have almost been like, watch it because I want you to be on right now, because it would be interesting to get that perspective which we can't offer.
This is true. I got it for. I've had it a lot of times. I was like, lots of women on. With the Fight Club, with the bros. I didn't want any women.
Sorry, have you seen that college humor sketch where they're doing, it's like an award ceremony, but every award goes to Fight Club? Because they're like bros who just love it.
What? Right, okay. I was going to say this for later. I'm pretty sure that's that might be based off this real thing. So I found. Did you guys know ever about the Guys' Choice Awards?
No, but I hate it already.
Okay, so on my Fight Club Blu-ray, right, David Fincher, Brad Pitt, and Edward Norton clearly, aren't making a cool bro movie, and they're like, yeah, no, this is a serious. Study of violence and we talked about all the things of that in the modern world, but they're clearly, they're not making a guy movie.
No.
However, on the Blu-ray, it got it won the 2000. Was it the 2010? The 2011. I think the 2008. Oh my god! Anyway, it won the Guy Movie Hall of Fame award.
Hall of Fame
in
award.
2009. So it won,
Fantastic.
and so on the special features, there's a whole 10-minute thing where David Fincher and Edward Norton and Brad Pitt have to do a speech, and David Fincher's clearly over it, and he's like,
yeah,
and he's looking, and he's like, oh god, these people, and they read some of the bad reviews, and they're like, thank you very much, but the award is given to them by Mel Gibson on horseback.
What?
And Brad Pitt thanks him and goes, thank you very much, Sugar Tits. Because he's clearly, because this is what, a couple of years after Mel Gibson getting pulled over for drunk driving and calling the female cop Sugar Tits. So I love that Brad Pitt just immediately calls him out on his shit. So this took me into the world of the Guys' Choice Awards. And it's just mad. We have the Guy Movie Hall of Fame in 2007, which was Swingers. These are some of the real categories. Biggest ass kicker. and your nominations were, there's only 2 nominations. Gerard Butler in 300 versus Keith Sutherland in 24.
Nice.
Hottest girl on the planet, Beyonce versus Adriana Lima. Who's Adriana Lima?
Adriana Lima.
She won over Beyonce. Luckiest bastard. And take a wild guess why they're so lucky.
Sorry, 1 second. Adriana Lima is a Victoria's Secret angel. Luckiest bastard because they get to have sex with the really hot girl, right?
And the winner was Cash Warren in recognition of his relationship with Jessica Alba.
In recognition, that's perfect.
Most unstoppable jock, naughtiest cyber vixen. No,
we can't be having naughty. Who won? I want to know who won.
That was Christine Dolce. This is just 2007. Funniest motherfucker, which was Will Ferrell won. Best gangster entertainment, which was The Departed versus The Sopranos. Sickest rhymes was Jay-Z. Kingpin of the year was James Gandolfini versus George Clooney. Hottest Jessica Alba gets another win. Guy's Guy, Adam Sandler. And then 2008, it just keeps going. There's, Brass Balls goes to Harrison Ford, Alpha Male Award, Biggest Ass Kicker. Guy Movie, the Most Dangerous Man. Decade of Hotness went to Cameron Diaz.
Nice.
Sexiest Siren, Rihanna versus Avril Lavigne. It's the same categories over and over again, but they've come up with next big thing. Next big thing was Megan Fox in 2008.
I don't want to take over your presenting duties, but I've got up the what I believe was one of the last shows, which was the 2016 Guys' Choice Awards.
Yes, where they're clearly like, okay, we want to keep this going, but also we need to change this around.
Because they've got Our New Girlfriend, which is just like, it's basically like hottest newcomer, I suppose, which is Gigi Hadid.
And they can't get, it's because they can't say hottest cyber woman anymore.
And they've got Outlaw, which is just Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know what the criteria was for that.
Best Outlaw.
Here's one for you. Hot and Funny, which went to Anna Kendrick. What else?
2016, peak year for Anna Kendrick.
And I don't even know what the criteria is for this, but it's Jean-Claude Goddamn, which went to Olivia Munn. So
I've got one here. This is all real. This is all real.
This is all real. Yes.
They've got the Most Dangerous Man, Terrence Howard. Oh yeah, the guy who wasn't War Machine. Brass Balls went to Sir Ben Kingsley. Don't know what he was doing in 2015. Don't know.
To get brass balls.
Recognition.
If you are seated in an emergency exit row, and feel you would be unable or unwilling to perform the duties listed on the safety card, please ask a flight attendant to reseat you.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Want to switch seats?
No, I'm not sure I'm the man for that particular job.
An exit door procedure at 30,000 feet. Mm-hmm. The illusion of safety.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know why they put oxygen masks on planes?
So you can breathe.
Oxygen gets you high. In a catastrophic emergency, you're taking giant panic breaths. Suddenly you become euphoric, docile. You accept your fate. It's all right here. Emergency water landing, 600 miles an hour. Blank faces, calm as Hindu cows.
That's an interesting theory. What do you do?
The Holy Grail of Hot. They just keep coming up with different names for to just say this woman's really attractive.
The Holy Grail of Hot. Maybe we should do a Carruthers, Leggetter and Whoever Guy's Choice Awards.
In Woman of the Year, they've got Woman of the Year. Also, our new girlfriend, Hottest Alison. Alison Brie versus
what? Hottest Alison.
Hottest Alison was Alison Brie versus Alison Williams. Who won?
Surely Alison Brie.
Alison Brie. And I'll put on my Guy's Choice Awards. I agree.
We should do in our version. We should have multiple versions of those, just to give awards to people we like. So it's like
hottest. This is a real stretch. So it's hottest Zoe, but they've like added a Y because it's Zoe Deschanel versus Zoe Saldana. Zoe Deschanel won. This is a real tight hot.
Would we be able to get Zoe Dutch in there now?
Yes.
These are all things we have to think about.
We're going to bring back the Guy's Choice Awards.
We're going to bring back the Guy's Choice Awards. Ironically,
it's
going to be great.
Time. Soundtrack corner. I mean, it's got a killer soundtrack, but I don't really know what the standout is.
I haven't listened to the soundtrack specifically, but Trent is a man.
Yes. Oh no, this was the Chemical Brothers.
Oh, is this not Trent?
No. The first
Social Network.
Trent and Atticus was Social Network, and Onward. They've done them all.
Oh, so this was the Chemical Brothers. Wow.
Dust Brothers.
I really like the bit of. Oh, sorry, the Dust Brothers, not the Chemical. Who are the Chemical Brothers?
The Chemical Brothers are just a really famous, electronic music duo.
This is the Dust Brothers, the other electronic brother.
Yeah.
Finn, clearly a big Dust Brothers fan. Do you want to give us 5 minutes on the Dust Brothers?
Really? No, not really. I just wanted to correct you. That's what I had to say on that. That's all I wanted to do there.
Fair enough.
I think the ending track is weird.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. The definite winner is Where Is My Mind?
Well, that's the thing. I was looking down it and I was like, "Is Where Is My Mind in this film?"
Yeah. It's the end. It's the end.
The end.
You met me at a very weird time in my life. Do 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 do. Have you had anything?
And it's fucking weird. It's really weird.
I don't know what I was doing because I watched this 2 nights ago, so I have no idea how I missed that.
It's because you were quick to get out.
Yeah, I did more or less just fucking.
It is a great needle drop. I do like Where Is My Mind. Again, it's like, oh, I love Where Is My Mind? I'm so cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a good song.
With your head
that's weird?
What do you mean weird? You keep saying weird, but like, what do you mean?
It's like so out of place.
No,
like,
it's not. Where Is My Mind? He's got DIDs. Fucked up.
Yeah, okay. No, I understand that, but the actual song, not the fucking title of the song. Like when it kicks in, it doesn't work.
Does?
And I know, but I hate you.
You know what it should have ended with? Blame Canada from South Park. Which, I'm sorry, in what world does Blame Canada not be You'll Be in My Heart? Bloody Phil Collins for Tarzan.
In my heart.
This is a great Best Original Song. No nominations for Fight Club, but When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2, Save Me from Magnolia, one of my favourite. I love Magnolia. Blame Canada should have won, and I guess You'll Be in My Heart's okay. Fight Club gets. Is Magnolia one? Yeah, the one where Julianne Moore goes, "You call me lady, you call me lady, you come here with your prescriptions. I fucked other men, I sucked their cocks." That's what Julianne Moore should have won for.
That's free for everyone to use and edit. You saying,
and usually you'd think that showing somebody that scene from Magnolia wouldn't get you anywhere, but in actuality, that's one of the only successful flirtations I've ever had. So, it started off. We were watching. It was a party, and as you do, you put the TV on. And instead of having it on in the background, I was like, "Oh, it's Edward Scissorhands!" And we watched the final 20 minutes of Edward Scissorhands, and we got into a debate because she was like, she didn't like Winona Ryder in the big bed, and I was like, "No, she's great." It's like, and now it snows all the time. I was like, "Don't make fun of the end of Edward Scissorhands." And then we watched that scene from Magnolia, and the night continued. That did actually happen. This is a real thing that happened, Finn. Fight Club got one nomination, Best Sound Effects Editing. Didn't win, lost to The Matrix. That was Norton's biggest problem with all of the violence in the film and people's reaction to it, is that obviously The Matrix is full of violence.
Yeah.
But
it's sci-fi, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a major different context. I want to be with Norton, and I want to be like, yeah, why can't it get an R instead of an NC-17? But also, it's completely different context, and Matrix is also bloodless, if I remember correctly. Obviously, you've changed a bit, Sam, and you're in a bit of a negative tone with the film. But is there, what are we talking Oscar nominations wise? I can
go to the Best Picture. I want to see what got nominated.
It's American Beauty year.
American Beauty.
Oh right.
I mean, now, when they nominate more or less every film ever, you can. It would be nominated in this same year. You would have to imagine.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Cider House Rules. Or the Green Mile. Or
you haven't seen Green Mile?
I haven't seen Green Mile.
Okay, Green Mile's excellent. Green Mile's excellent. In The Insider's great. It's got my boy Al Pacino.
Oh.
You gotta tell them the truth about their smoking. Great movie.
But I mean, you could definitely put it in Best Direction. Yeah. You could give Edward Norton a Best Actor nomination.
Editing's a joke.
You could give Brad Pitt Best Supporting. You could give Helena Bonham Carter Best Supporting.
Yeah. I just think it's.
I don't know if they'd win, but nominations without a doubt. Adaptation, for sure.
Yeah, definitely over the Cider House Rules. This is the thing. 1999 was an incredible year, and Talented Mr. For me, I'd be far happier. Well, I mean, not really, because Cider House Rules is there, but just look at the films this year: Talented Mr. Ripley, Sixth Sense, Being John Malkovich, Green Mile, Fight Club, The Insider, Magnolia, and yeah, you've got some of them in there, but and just American Beauty is not even the fifth best. No, it is the fifth best film probably, but so many great films this year.
Yeah,
I think people do refer 1999 more so now as one of those just seminal years of film, like 1994 with Fiction, Shawshank, and
Forrest Gump. But looking back, obviously, well, again, it's contextual, isn't it? People didn't like it when it came out.
No.
But now, if you're looking back at it, we could probably understand that we could take it on its artistic merit.
I'm not going to. I can't take this on my own, but I listen a lot to the Bill Simmons podcast and the Rewatchables, and he has a theory that we should give the Academy Awards out
10 years later.
Yeah, 10 years later, and actually see what
what stands up.
Yeah, okay, let's. So 10 years later would be. What would be what was the? I'm not googling what the.
What the 20? It'd be the 2011.
2011 sounds like.
Let me have a Google.
I think we did this the other day. 2011 Oscars.
Oh, it was the King's Speech.
All right, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, Social Network sweeps. Come on.
Come on. Yeah. In 127 hours. Black Swan.
Yeah, Black Swan's great.
Fighter. Inception. The Kids Are All Right. The Social Network. True Grit. Winter's Bone. Toy Story.
Yeah. In what world does the Social Network not sweep?
Would you give David Fincher Best Director over Darren Aronofsky that year? I don't know if I would. I think if we're because what the Oscars do now, they attempt to at least a little bit share the love around.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I like a sweep.
Okay, I get that, but if we're thinking about like how it would be now, you could give The Social Network the best film, give Darren Aronofsky Best Director. You could probably still give Best Actor to Colin Firth.
Yeah, okay. I just think Colin Firth. I love. Yeah, I have it to hand. A Single Man, Colin Firth, best performance he ever did. It's directed by Tom Ford, the fashion designer, and A Single Man, great film with Julianne Moore, and he should have won for that, but he didn't. He lost to Jeff Bridges for Crazy Heart. Best Single Minute, again, here's some nominations. Intro. I love Chloe, the cancer woman who would look like Meryl Streep's skeleton, talking about...
oh my God, and she's there like, I haven't had sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Basically asking people to just like pity fuck her.
Well, I'd forgotten about it, and I was watching it like...
Aim on my trade. It chokes on the mic.
Yeah, it's awful.
I have videotapes.
You feel bad for her, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Do you think anybody picked her up?
You would.
I wouldn't.
Tom,
I don't even like
Meryl
Streep. Never mind her skeleton. I do like Meryl Streep, sparingly. Seething indictment of Meryl Streep. I love the plane crash. Just really good, and it holds up effects-wise. I don't think the penguin looks very good anymore, but most of the effects in this still look great.
What is that shit in the cave? I hate that. It's fucked. I don't think it works.
He's in his meditation.
Yeah, I think it's shit.
I don't like the penguin saying slide.
No, it's
that's weird.
And then Helena going, slide.
It's really strange.
Yeah, I could lose that. I've got that in What's the Change anyway.
It's like, she's in my head, she's in my head now, like she's pissing me off. She's like getting in the way of my meditation, but I think it could have been done in a better way.
Yeah, I think the better way would have been if Helena Bonham Carter was dressed like a penguin.
No, she was the slide. She just was.
It would be better if the penguin was Danny DeVito's penguin from Batman Returns. Slide. Got a button. God, I love Batman Returns. 9 lives. The first fight outside the tavern. The lie. Lou coming down, the gangster guy who runs the tavern, and Brad's just going insane.
Yeah, and him just being like, "No, I don't think I get it yet, Lou. Oh no, I've got it. I've forgotten."
Just great, and it's all about it's the lesson of you got to take a fight. Because you could get at least 5 good messages out of this movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn to take a fight, and always start your own terrorist organization. I guess that's not one of them.
Steal fat from liposuction clinic.
Steal fat from liposuction. We were giving these women their fat asses back in soap.
Such a good line. Oh my God, such a fucking good line.
And maybe the best scene in the entire film is the car rain sequence, is the car in the rain, and that argument. And because obviously he's arguing with himself. I love the random, what would you do? What would you do? What would you regret if you died now? I want to build a house. I want to paint a self-portrait. Just the sort of weird things. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, these are off the dome. Yeah, you might want to build a house in life. Let's get into best line then. Let's see what we're throwing out.
I will. I want to know certain things first.
First rule of Project Mayhem.
Shut up. I want to know what you're thinking.
Fuck what you know. You need to forget about what you know. That's your problem. Forget about what you think you know about life, about friendship, and especially about you and me.
What is that supposed to mean? What are you doing?
Guys, what would you wish you'd done before you died?
Paint a self-portrait.
Build a house. And you?
I don't know. Nothing. Come on, get in the right.
You have to know the answer to this question. If you were to die right now, how would you feel about your life?
I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything good about my life. Is that what you want to hear me say? Fine. Come on.
Not good enough.
Stop fucking around. Tyler!
Finn?
Well, I...
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Oh, Finn.
No, go on, Finn. You can go.
Okay, well, I put the one where they push the commissioner, I think it is, isn't it, into the ball, and they're like, well, we're going to cut off your balls, like this, and he's like, no, don't do that, please, they're my balls. And then he basically is like, we drive the ambulances, we guide you while you're asleep, but don't fight for us. I think that's so cool. That's such a sick line. And then when he's just like sprinting about, when he's like a headless chicken, he goes, I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid, and then I ran some more. That's cool.
Which I believe is a line from Forrest Gump. I'm kidding.
Battery acid.
We actually have a line from Forrest Gump in this when he goes, "Run, Forrest, run." How do we feel about that? How do we feel about the pop culture in this? Is it because I think it works?
I think
when he does the human sacrifice with the vet, who's the clerk, and he runs away and he's like, "Run, Forrest, run."
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think this film would lose something of its message if it wasn't being relevant of its time, if it wasn't making references.
It's a good thing that Forrest Gump is like timeless.
Yeah.
It might not be, we talk about that 1994 Oscar year.
Not in 1993.
No, that's true. Well, no, they had the book.
They did.
It was a book first. Now, a question of etiquette. As I pass, do I give you the ass or the crotch?
Oh yeah, and he asses, but then crotches.
I've always thought about that. I always like ass. No, that's more courteous. Sticking feathers up your butt does not make you a chicken. Sam?
I messaged you about this the other day, actually, Tom. It's not. Make no mistake here. It's not a line I enjoy. It's not my favourite line, but the line that stuck with me was Marla going, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school."
Here's your story. So the original line was, I'm verbatim it, which is, I'm paraphrasing. I believe it's, "I want to have your abortion." The original line.
I don't like that.
And so the producer said, "You need to cut that." And so Fincher said, "Okay, I'll swap it, but whatever the line is, I'm not swapping it again. You have no say." And so then the producer said, "No, please change it back." And he said, "No." David Fincher, trickster.
It was just, I'd just forgotten about it, and we were messaging as I was watching it, and she said it, and I was like, "Oh, fuck." That they have achieved exactly what they wanted with that line.
And also, Helena Bonham Carter, I've heard her talk about how she didn't know where grade school actually was in the run of things.
Because she's British, isn't she?
She's very British. It's primary school, isn't it?
It's primary school.
Is it? Yeah. What, like year 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, it's essentially her saying...
Let's say 3.
Oh yeah, because 3's so much better.
No, it's so much better than year 1.
They're 6.
It's not better, but it's better. If I didn't say anything, people always assumed the worst, which is true.
Obviously, all of the I am John's
Jack
spoiled colon or whatever it is. Jack. There you go.
Which is good. What's the change? Oh, sorry. Go on.
I find the whole "I am Jack's broken heart." I find that so cringy.
Yeah.
I thought it worked in the first half, but as it felt forced in the second half, it was like, I need to say this because it's a motif that's been running through the whole film.
Because the film is like, it's kind of based in gritty realism up to a point, obviously, on your initial watch, so that some of the lines which are more like stylized and motif don't work with the kind of like it trying to portray some sort of realism.
I would deliver a long tirade against it if it weren't such a dog, such a laborious and foolish waste of time. That was David Denby of The New Yorker. I had where's the next one? I thought there for a while that Fight Club had a capital M message, a message that would ring in our ears and inspire us, something that would be the final word for us all. Lost, soulless Generation X slackers. And I was right. There is a message in Fight Club, and that message is grow the hell up. And that's Blue Duck at hsbsb.org. According to the Hollywood Reporter, this was overheard at the premiere. Why aren't there pickets here? Where is Cardinal O'Connor when we need him?
Why aren't there pickets here?
Just shit. I mean, it's just, we've bought. Let's talk about other things that we changed. What's the change? Finn, you've talked about you've mentioned a few grabs. Have you got any other major changes?
No, not really, honestly.
Sam?
I don't think the film needs to be particularly majorly changed because of what it was trying to achieve at the time.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying before, if you were to diversify the cast, you would have to diversify the story and the message.
Yeah.
Which in itself isn't a change that needs to be made to that film, but it's kind of just a different film. Which would equally be as interesting to watch and try and understand. But is not particularly a change that needs to be made to Fight Club.
No. I have a few smaller changes. The Penguin. I don't actually like the flashes of Brad Pitt. I know you were on about the insomnia and how it works for the insomnia. I just think it's obvious and it's kitschy and it doesn't work for me at all.
It works for me really well.
My dad said, "Oh, go on, sir."
Sorry, I think it would work better if it was porn.
Well, we do have the great flash of porn at the end.
No, but all the way through.
Throughout.
Well, then it's the insinuation that Tyler's showing you this film.
Yeah. My dad, with the flashes, my dad said aloud, "Am I seeing something here?" It's very enjoyable. Lots of throwing of lit cigarettes about. You can be reckless, but be careful. I know that Bob can't take his shirt off because he's got his prosthetic on, and that's why he wears a shirt in the fight. But also, one of the rules is no shirt, no shoes.
No shirt, no shoes, yeah. Maybe they make an exception for Bob's bitch tits.
That's what I was thinking. I want to get his tits out. It's a bit grim.
Yeah, I guess.
Nice and
I don't like that Marla never referred to Edward Norton as Tyler throughout. She never once calls him Tyler, and then after the reveal in that diner scene, she calls him Tyler like 5 times. If she didn't call him Tyler 5 times in the diner scene, it would be fine. But the fact that she goes, "You're oh, come on, Tyler, don't be so ridiculous. Oh, Tyler," and she keeps saying it, and it's like, oh, don't make me think that.
In a way, though, doesn't that? I feel like that doesn't work, and it does work at the same time because it's like it solidifies the fact that he's been like maybe she was saying it and he just didn't. We weren't listening.
Mm-hmm. It's a distinct possibility.
I am sorry with that as well. On you kind of like on your first watches, obviously you don't notice that because nobody calls the narrator by his name, so that isn't a logical inconsistency. But I suppose when you go back around, I'm trying to think, what would it be like if she dropped a few Tylers in there? You could even try and make it work. Oh no, you couldn't. The entire point is they're not in the same room at the same time.
They're not in the same room. I was astounded. Like, what? Maybe it's because I watched it a lot. So like I noticed like everything now, but I was astounded that my parents didn't guess the twist because they're quite good with twists, and it was like, wow. Like the amount of little things and like, oh, it was like we were never in the same room. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
You never guess it. I know, that's the thing. It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You know the question. You know the answers to the questions. You know.
Did you guess it first time?
No, I didn't. I mean, I was a very young child. I famously watched A-Teens, terrible movies, very young. So I was very young, and I was like, wow.
That explains a lot of things. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Did you?
Me?
Did you guess it?
No, not at all.
No.
Didn't come in. Like I was.
I don't think anyone does, really.
It's a great twist.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
I'm not a big fan of flashback humor. I don't like that. It's like the sort of wink, fourth wall thing that isn't present throughout. Well, no, it is present throughout, but it's not present to that extent. And it's like, okay, yeah, all right, jerk yourself off a bit. Also, would shooting himself work? I've never liked the ending. I have to say. Oh no, I love the ending. I love You Met Me at a Very Weird Time in My Life, and then with your head on your feet. But I've never liked the shooting himself thing. I just think, how stupid. How has he managed to blow his cheek out? And it's just, it doesn't make it. I'm going to be with my mother. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't work for me, and it never has.
It looks great.
Looks incredible. David Fincher can make a very good film, but it's just stupid.
How the bullet curves round, but not.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It's always annoyed me, and it's like.
Plus, with the gun being that close, there'd be some sort of burn that you'd get around the rest of your face. It wouldn't just be a single gunshot going through your cheek.
Yeah, like he could talk and he was fine. It was like you would be in so much agony.
There'd probably be some like broken teeth through like the reverberation. Perhaps like your jaw would crack a little.
Like
there'd be a whole thing.
I like Edward Norton's like speech after that he's not just like, hey guys, I'm fine. Like he does the whole, okay, come over here. Like he does do something, and it's funny and it's dark.
Also, probably a busted eardrum if it's that.
Yeah,
close.
It's just I don't know why he just doesn't. If it's all about his head and killing Tyler, and I understand that it's killing that part of himself.
Yeah.
But if he's got the whole, you're holding the gun because I'm holding the gun. I like that. Then just shoot Tyler.
Yeah.
I know
visual metaphor.
Yeah. And it's the literal visual metaphor of killing that part of yourself.
Yeah,
but also it's like, okay. And also the fact that he manages to hold Elena's hand and let his tongue go, let his jaw go for You Met Me at a Very Weird Time in My Life, which is delivered without as many. It'd be a very different ending if it was You Met Me at a Very Weird Time in My Life. I don't have any other changes. What's left from people's notes? Finn?
Nothing.
With your head on your feet. Sam?
What is left from my notes about this film? Have you seen the actual critiques that say it is a sort of a comment on actual fascism?
As in like like
on European fascism, which notoriously was at its sort of lowest ebb at any point since the Second World War in the 90s, and which we've obviously now seen a resurgence of pretty soon after. So I think that's quite an interesting angle that it comes from, essentially that fascism always stems from masculinity, and when masculinity is sort of subdued in a particular way, like it was after the First World War, because obviously after the First World War, women's role in society was pushed further up because of the importance of, because essentially you've had millions of young men just die.
Yep, nice 10 5-mark question on a history paper.
Yeah.
Less oppression because they worked in the factories.
A classic. But when women's role in society was pushed up, that was there's an idea that that's why fascism rose in the 30s. There's also now the idea that obviously fascism is rising again in Europe, and there's the idea that this is sort of, well, it would have been a post-World War II critique of it, an adherence towards that idea. But watching it now, with obviously the rising of fascism that we're seeing in the Western world once again, that adds another layer to the watching experience now, which I think is particularly enjoyable. I haven't read the fascist critique of it probably since I first watched it. I should have read it before this. But
I just think there's an interesting version of this movie to be made now, because I don't think any of those dickheads are getting in a proper fight. I just can't imagine any of them. And I want a movie where people of like the Fight Club bros were like, oh yeah, Fight Club's so cool. And they're like, we're going to start a fight club. And then they like punch each other and they're like, ow, no, stop. No, this is bad. Don't punch me.
Well, because the entire point is that somebody who would enjoy Fight Club and not understand what it was getting at are the people that Fight Club think are like complete dickheads.
Yeah.
And like the people who kind of like watch Fight Club and say, or like would actually get involved with this Fight Club are the disenfranchised and the disassociated, which aren't people who watch Fight Club and go, I want to join a Fight Club.
I want to join a Fight Club. A few fun facts. Let's have a look at these. In the short scene where Brad Pitt are drunk and hitting golf clubs, they are really drunk.
Oh, that's fun.
They were hitting the catering truck.
That is fun.
When Tyler catches the narrator listening at the door as he has sex with Marla, he's wearing a rubber glove. This was Brad Pitt's idea and caused a great deal of controversy with the president of production at Fox Pictures, Laura Ziskin, who was the big abortion line producer. She was horrified when she saw the movie and demanded that it be removed. However, at a subsequent test screening, the appearance of the glove got the biggest laugh of the whole movie, prompting Ziskin to change her mind. It is good.
Do we know why she was horrified? Because that's just like...
It's just great.
It's just weird sex shit. I feel like it's completely in line with the rest of the film.
Yeah, and you're not a prude to produce this movie. I read the whole thing, and like she's like in it, and she's like, yeah, no, this movie's going to be massive. The original pillow talk scene. I've talked about abortions. In the line, in an infamous incident, the Friday that the film was released theatrically in the United States, Rosie O'Donnell appeared on her TV show and revealed that she had seen the film earlier in the week and had been unable to sleep ever since. She then proceeded to give away the plot twist and urged all of her viewers to avoid the movie at all costs.
Is this another sort of in the 90s, this all makes sense thing? So like, if you watch this in 1999, are you there like, fucking what?
Like shit yourself.
Yeah, you're just unable to sleep. Just it's the most revolutionary thing in the world. Is there any sort of equivalent now?
Well, I guess Joker, people were really into Joker. No movie's ever stopped me from sleeping.
And Joker's not set now either, to be fair.
No, I know. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like Joker made its comment about today, but still said it in the 70s.
And also there was I suppose there was a big backlash towards this too, so maybe it's the equivalent. But like I know a lot of people, myself included, who weren't convinced by Joker.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely needed to be 20 minutes shorter.
I was thinking
or just not made.
Well, Tom,
carry on.
What do you watch that's like the Black Mirror? It's not Black Mirror. You say it's better than Black Mirror.
Inside Number 9.
Inside Number 9, that's great as well.
That is great.
But also, I've been Twilight Zone, I believe, is the show that Finn is talking about.
Yeah. because that made me think like Twilight Zone, Black Mirror-esque type things. That makes people very uneasy.
I think the sort of the irony of forgetting what the Twilight Zone's called, but knowing Black Mirror is that's very 2021, isn't it?
Like, I do plan to live with Finn, but I do want him to know that a little part of me just died.
Good. I hope to kill it all off.
I'll let you know that a big hit has been my little private Twilight Zone screenings, and they all start and they're all laughing and they're like, ha ha ha, it's so funny and it's so old, but then they're like, oh, we'll watch another because they still work. God damn it, they were made in 1960 whatever, and they still work.
Did you ever see? Did you ever go and see the play version at the Ambassadors?
I sure did.
I did too.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I thought my critique was very simple, in that you can't have your cake and eat it. That half of the twists they played as jokes, which is great. Yeah, it is funny. But then if you're going to play it as a joke, you can't expect me to cry and be upset at the
racism
and all that stuff. Which,
yeah.
You watch, as point proven with me showing people Twilight Zone again today. If you watch those episodes, they still work. They still work. Just gangbusters. They're incredible, and that's all there is to it. You just gotta live in that world for that 20 minutes, and yeah, you can laugh. I guess at some of the special effects, but also most of them still work. I guess I'm also an old man. David Fincher sought out Radiohead to provide the music score, but Tom York was suffering from exhaustion following the promotion of OK Computer.
Yeah, I can imagine Radiohead under this film.
Chuck Palahniuk revealed that when he wrote the book, he did not actually know that Tyler and the narrator were the same person until he was 2/3 of the way through writing the story, at which point he noticed that they acted together as one person and chose to finish the story with the twist. I guess then on the second draft, he added little things.
Well, that's just the writing process, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can appreciate that he started it out with the idea of this man finding another man and then probably realizing that's a bit not far-fetched, but it's like this is completely set out of reality, and then being like, oh, well, if it was the same person, that would work and make a lot more sense within the narrative. I like that
twist.
And it's a fantastic twist.
Tagline rundown. How much can you talk? How much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? Obviously, that's a line from the film. It's a good line from the film as well. I've never been in a fight. I don't know what I'd reveal.
I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I know.
I think that's true.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, genuinely.
Do you want me and you? We can meet up and we can find stuff out about each other.
I do think it. No, I think I've never been in a major fight, but I think if I was in a major fight, yeah, I think I'd be like, okay, so that's how I react. Even if you're only finding out how you'd react, getting to
I don't think you would, because ultimately it comes down. Like, have you ever been taught to throw a punch?
No, but I've watched a lot of movies. I'd be a
well,
great.
Then you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna lose. I can tell you that. And I understand that it's kind of like.
Yeah, but when I think about having
fights
with people I don't like, when I think about that, I always win.
Fight or flight is whether you just like take it or whether you like shove them off and you. Like,
yeah. But the entire point is that we've progressed to a point where we don't need fight or flight to directly dictate everything we do, like we did when we were hunter-gatherers.
This is true. So... more taglines. Losing all hope is freedom. That sort of just like, yeah, I guess that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, you looking at the tagline for the film, just like, okay.
This is for the 10th anniversary Blu-ray. Don't ever talk about it. Experience it on Blu-ray. This is like the biggest tagline. This is the one that's on like I remember. That's like the poster one. When I say I remember, I don't mean when I watched the movie in 1999.
1999.
Mischief, mayhem, soap. That for me that works. It's like what?
I'd say that works.
What was the
works
third one?
Than the other.
Yeah. Does it work better than Works great, even on bloodstains.
I think the silence speaks for itself there.
And then, did you for the German release? This is Mischief, Mayhem, Soap in German. Übermut, Chaos, Cypher.
Everything sounds better in German.
Yeah, I guess. Thomas, big question. I don't really have many. Who would, if you could fight any celebrity, who would you fight?
Oh yeah. If you could fight any.
Yeah, I do like that recontextualization, because obviously, you know, that's sex questions, isn't it? Celebrity, historical figure, and bringing that into the world of this fighting that they have. I like that subversion. I think that
if you
works.
could fight any celebrity, who would you fight? I'm having a think.
Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah. What, in
Um,
prepping for Raging Bull?
He'd fucking batter me, but it would be fun.
Yeah, at least you could say that.
I've been beaten up by Robert De Niro. What a flex! What a flex!
you know Ben Shapiro.
Oh fuck that guy! I hate him.
Just he's so short. I'd just be teeing up on him. It'd be great. Literally, you just punch him downwards, aren't you? At that point, literally, you just grab his hair and just downwards with your elbows. It's great.
Yeah,
but that's just because I hate him, obviously, because of what he stands for. But I'm thinking, if there's just a celebrity that I just don't care for, I don't know. Is there anyone who's just
someone
weird?
we don't like? Is it someone we don't like?
I don't think it is, because they.
I just someone you'd have fun in a fight with.
Yeah, if there's someone I think who would be like fun to fight.
Jennifer Lawrence or something like that.
What do you mean? Do you mean 2007's hottest cyber babe? Bringing it back.
You know who would be really fun to fight?
Who?
Zac Efron.
Yeah, but because then you could have a cold brewski with him after. Because I think
that's what I mean. I
think
feel like
Zac
he'd
Efron's
love
a
it.
cool dude now.
I feel like if he knew there was no malice in it, and you were just like Fight Clubbing, I reckon he'd be great.
Oh yeah, and you could trash talk. You'd be like, "Come on, Troy, come on."
You can sing at me.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're in the game.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck.
Oh no! Oh, you're not gonna get your internship at the.
Tom, you know Peter Dinklage?
I do. Whoa, that's a bit rough.
You can't be fighting Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage could break you.
He would.
Oh mate,
pick me up and snap.
You know who would absolutely eviscerate you in a fight? Sean Bean.
Oh yeah.
Sean Bean would kill you.
One of the weirdest videos of all time is like early Brit Awards, and it's Sean Bean awarding the Arctic Monkeys for Best New Band. And Sean Bean's like, "Here they are, the boys from Sheffield, the Arctic Monkeys." He goes, "Boys from Sheffield, City of Steel." And then the Arctic Monkeys come up in like full-blown Yorkshire flat caps and like farm gear.
Amazing.
It's not as good as That Rock and Roll.
That rock and roll, eh?
It just keeps rolling.
It'll never die.
Inbox me for the mic.
Invoice me for the microphone.
I remember watching that live before my mum got into the Arctic Monkeys, and she said, "What a knob. He's just a knob." Then she gets into the Arctic Monkeys, absolutely loves the Arctic Monkeys.
Yep.
And went to go see them live. She loves him. Loves Alex Turner. She can't get enough.
The cyclical nature.
That rock and roll. Honestly, that's just a great reference. If you get up for a speech and most people get it, and it's like, that rock and roll.
That rock and roll, eh? Yeah, it'd be great.
Still works. I'm pretty sure I've done that with Finn. I think, did I do that? I can't remember.
A lot of shit with me, man.
And that's about it. There is a graphic novel, Fight Club 2, written by Chuck Palahniuk, about Marla and Jack / the narrator living in suburbia, and Tyler starts coming back out again. Yeah, I guess make it.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
I don't really want to.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, but also if Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helena Bonham Carter, and David Fincher were like, "This is our next movie," I would be
You're
like,
watching it.
I would be like, front row. Actually, no, I wouldn't be front row because
You'd be
front
back
row at
row.
the cinema is the worst thing in the world.
This is
Yeah.
true.
I remember watching. Do you remember Inkheart?
Nope.
It was like after Stardust, and it was Brendan Fraser, and it was like, what books do we have? What books are there? Buy them, and we'll make 10 movies. And I remember watching Inkheart with a very crooked neck, and yeah, that's that story. I've frozen.
Oh,
I've frozen.
That's are we?
hey, Tom. That's it, innit?
I talked about Inkheart for 5 minutes. But yeah, Brendan Fraser. Anyway, Finn, it's been a pleasure. Sam, it's been a pleasure. Any final thoughts, lads, on Fight Club?
We should start our own.
What?
We should start our own one.
Yeah.
Fight Club.
I wonder what the soap smelled like.
Shit, probably. I would imagine.
No, it must be good. You can't have a shit-smelling soap. That's the job of soap.
Yeah, he sold that to like Macy's.
Yeah, but they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it smells bad because it's like the oppression of the poor." I love wiping that on me. Some weird shit. Like that.
They were wiping soap on their ass and it smelled bad.
And they love.
Yeah, we need write something about the soap quickly. Okay, soap, and it's bad. That's our Fight Club too. We're going to patent it. We're going to copyright it. We're going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. We're going to restart the Guy Choice Awards, and we're going to write Fight Club 2. So we're very busy. But in the meantime, we will talk about the rest of David Fincher's canon. I've been Thomas Carruthers.
I've been Sam Mandi-Ghomi.
Yeah. Go for that. Yeah. Finn, who have you been?
I've been present today. I've been here, existing. Thank you, Tom.
That sounds like the first line of somebody's terrible screenplay that they wrote when they watched Fight Club, and they were like, "Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go home today and I'm going to finally write my screenplay." I'm just here, existing. I'm present. And then that's also the final line of the film.
It's like what? It like brings it into a nice circle. It draws it to a close.
What if they said the same thing at the start and at the end?
And they're in the same place.
Oh,
Bob
and they're the
had
same
bitch tits.
and the same Bob had bitch tits. Fight Club.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba.